Well, I'm going to talk about healing from bitter experiences. Nations go through turbulent moments. Talk about war, talk about disease, famine, tribal conflict, abduction, violations of human rights, etc. And we've seen some of these in countries, especially in Africa. Talk about the Rwandan genocide, apartheid in South Africa, the Liberian war, atrocities in Sierra Leone, several revolutions, if you like, here in Ghana. And that's why we're talking here today about healing of memories. I have here with me Father Michael Lapsley. He's the director of the Institute of Healing Memories. And he's got a book coming up, and I'm sure it's all about, it's called what? Redeeming the Past, My Journey from Freedom Fighter to Healer. Father, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Gifty. Great to meet you, and great to be with the viewers.
Great to meet you as well. So, I mean, this is a very interesting topic that we're going to discuss. Even though we don't have a lot of time, we'll try and deal with it. But I have an idea, and I'm sure my viewers have as well, based on what we have said. Healing is all about past bitterness, past terrible experiences. What is the footing upon which we can start this conversation? What do you call healing of memories? What is that?
Well, just to say, we're here in Ghana to talk about healing of memories, to popularize it. And I think healing of memories is fundamentally about dealing with the past.
Dealing with the past.
Psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, but it also applies to nations, between nations, in communities, and in families, and ourselves, inside ourselves. I think healing of memories is relevant to the whole human family. And of course, these days, even in relation to Mother Earth, the issue of healing is there.
Interesting. What then are the repercussions if you don't go through this healing process? What could happen to you if you don't go through that process?
I think if terrible things happen to us, whether it's happened, and you gave some examples,
yes.
Liberia, you gave the examples, and
yeah.
of course, ancient, old and recent wounds here in Ghana, whether you talk about slavery, you talk about military rule, or you talk about the present reality. I think we either transform memories or we transmit them.
Okay, so explain that a bit further. You transform memories or you transmit them.
Yes.
What does it mean?
Well, I think if terrible things have happened to us, there's likely to be one of two journeys. One journey is when we are victims and we go on to become victimizers. And that cycle, again, is true of nations and true of individuals. And people give themselves permission to do terrible things to others because of what was done with them.
Because of what they've gone through.
Right? Okay. And so, if you like, the victim becomes the victimizer, the victim becomes the perpetrator.
Interesting.
Tomorrow we're going to go to prison in Sawa, in Sawam.
In Sawam, yes.
And if you talk to people in prisons around the world who have done terrible things to others, a very high percentage of them have had terrible things done to them.
Okay.
So, and that doesn't excuse what they've done, but there is, a cycle as well.
Okay.
So it's about breaking the cycle.
Okay. So this book that you're launching tomorrow, right?
We're launching on Christ the King Catholic Church on Sunday afternoon at 4.
Oh, Sunday afternoon.
And I believe you're coming.
I just want to talk about the book a bit more. It looks intriguing to me. It says, Redeeming the Past, My Journey from Freedom Fighter to Healer. What is your story?
Well, Kiwi boy, born in New Zealand.
Okay.
Became a priest in Australia. And then I went to South Africa. I often say the day I arrived in South Africa, I stopped being a human being, I became a white man. Because suddenly every single part of my life was defined by the color of my skin. But I still wanted to be a human being. So for me, that meant joining the liberation struggle. So I was a priest, chaplain, member of the African National Congress of South Africa. And back in 1990, 3 months after Mandela had been released from the prison, I received a letter bomb in the post, hidden inside the pages of 2 religious magazines. So that's how I lost both my hands and eye, eardrum shattered.
Because I'm saying, so these are supposed to aid you and
Not supposed to, they do. I drive my car, I use my computer.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And this, so hold on, I say, I'm still trying to process it.
Right.
What happened again? So a
letter bomb.
A letter bomb?
Hidden inside the pages of 2 religious magazines.
2 religious magazines.
Sent from the apartheid regime.
Wow.
To me in Zimbabwe.
Okay, and why were you a target?
Well, they never sent another note explaining that. But you know, my work in the liberation movement was pastoral, education, and theological. Okay. So I cared for people in exile. I was involved in education, young exiles from Christian University, but most importantly, my work was mobilizing the faith community internationally and say apartheid wasn't just a human rights issue, it wasn't just a political issue, it was a faith issue. Okay. Because the apartheid regime claimed to be Christian.
Christian, right.
And so part of my job was to unmask that claim. So I would say they tried to kill me because of my theology.
Okay. So then that explains why you would be a target. But in wrapping up, you're launching this book, and I believe that story. So here's the book. It's called Redeeming the Past, My Journey. I don't know if I am placing it at the right place for the camera to get it. It says Redeeming the Past, My Journey from Freedom Fighter to Healer. And it's written by Father Michael Lapsley, who is here with us today. He's launching it at the Christ the King Parish on Sunday afternoon. So in wrapping up, at 4 o'clock, in wrapping up, you've gone through this and you're using your story to help people to heal.
Yeah, well, people across the world accompanied me on my journey of healing through prayer and love and support. So then I realized I had a new vocation to, as people walked beside me on my journey of healing, I needed to create an institute for healing of memories so people could have safe and sacred spaces where they could deal with the psychological, emotional and spiritual effects of the past. Find a way of detoxifying. So instead of becoming victimizers themselves, they move towards freedom.
To help other people detoxify
themselves.
Okay, so how do people get to, read this book? Social media, are there any,
Yeah, they can look at, if you just ask, Google. I believe Google's alive and well.
Okay.
So you go Healing of Memories on Google.
Of Memories.
Then our website will come up. In terms of the book, if they can't come, I know most people will come to the launch on Sunday, but those who don't, Amazon has it as well. If you just go Redeeming the Past, Father Michael Lapsley, voila. It will be there.
And it will be there. It will be there. I wish you all the best. You're going to Nsawam. I'm sure that we'll probably talk to you before you, after Nsawam, so we get the picture after Nsawam as well, and how you've helped people deal with their memories. But thank you so much for coming. Father Michael Lapsley. He's director of Institute of Healing of Memories, and we all go through things. People do things to us. We live with the bitterness, etc. He's gone through some things. He's been bombed. He has an experience, and he's talking about how you can heal from such experiences. Father, thank you very much for coming, and thank you for reaching out to the Nsawam prisoners as well.